In 1919, when Prohibition was in full swing, Detroit was just a stone's throw from Canada across the river. When the river froze, smugglers walked across with bottles stowed in their high boots, thus the term bootleggers. It was the second biggest industry in the city at the time, after automobiles. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. Starting Tuesday, the Federal Reserve will start distributing the long-delayed new $100 bills to banks. For the word "we" must never be spoken, save by one's choice and as a second thought. This word must never be placed first within a man's soul, else it becomes a monster. It was terrible. Yeah? She moved a little closer. Worst busted faucet I seen in my whole life. He shook her hand off his arm and left her standing in the middle of the block. You old sop bucket, she muttered as she went back up on her stoop. Even today, international data point out the need for increased output from U.S. schools. The most reliable border-crossing assessment tools include the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, which houses its data on the National Center for Education Statistics website. What is real? Asked the rabbit one day. Real isn't how you are made, said the skin horse. It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real. It was a pleasure to burn. It was a special pleasure to see things eaten, to see things blackened and changed. This is Michigan Central Station, or what's left of it. At peak service, 200 trains arrived and departed from here every day. The last train left more than 20 years ago. Its platforms stand empty. Platforms, which were the last stop for thousands of workers seeking jobs on Detroit's assembly lines. And upon him, and upon the pillow beside, lay that even coating of the silent and biting dust. Then we noticed that in the second pillow was the indentation of a head. One of us lifted something from it, and leaning forward, that faint and invisible dry dust and acrid in the nostrils, we saw a long strand of iron gray hair. We know about immortals. In the end, there can be only one. May it be Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander.